Hi, my name's Jacob Faiola. I'm an HVAC engineer at SHP in Cincinnati, and today we're going to talk to you about some of the ways you can prevent the spread of COVID-19 in the built environment.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our presentation, Slow the Spread of Viruses Indoors. My name is Steve Tossey, and I'm a mechanical engineer with SHP in Cincinnati. Just to jump right in, remember, viruses cannot walk, swim, or fly on their own. They only move when someone or something else moves them. You can catch them, but they can't catch you. Today we will be talking about the most significant moving force affecting viruses, the human respiratory system. Normal indoor air movement is generally unable to overcome the initial inertia to get viruses moving when they're lying on the floor. They need a stronger push and a vehicle upon which to ride. That's where we come in. Typical human breath is about 5 or 6% water vapor, 4 to 5% carbon dioxide, and 89 to 90% air. The water vapor droplets are the vehicle. The velocity of a typical exhalation is 10 miles an hour. The velocity of a cough is 50 miles an hour. The velocity of sneezed air is 100 miles an hour. So given the fact that we're always putting these things in motion, what can be done to reduce the likelihood that viruses will not make it all the way to another person? Just to make sure that we're all at least as smart as a fifth grader, let's start with a bit of Virology 101. Viruses were discovered in the 1890s. They are chemical compounds smaller than bacteria. Significantly, they have instructions for reproductions, DNA or RNA. But they must get cellular material from a host organism to reproduce. Now, if the molecules can be split into their separate elements, the virus ceases to exist. As long as the virus isn't brought into contact with living cells, the chemical bonds holding them together will decay, and the virus will fall apart. This can happen within a few minutes or within a few days. There are two ways that viruses spread: inhalation and ingestion. Inhalation requires the viruses to be airborne, which they do by hitching a ride on a small water droplet. Ingestion requires direct transfer of a virus from one solid object to the inside of a body. Skin is an impenetrable barrier to viruses. The outer layer of skin cells are already dead, so the viruses cannot use them to replicate themselves. To ingest the virus, it must enter through the mouth, nose, or eyes. And this is why washing your hands before picking up your corn chips, picking at your pimples, or picking your nose will stop the spread.
Fascinating stuff, Steve. Did you know that Americans spend almost 90% of their lives indoors? People are looking at HVAC systems to help limit the spread of viruses. So, what are some proven strategies that can reduce the likelihood someone will catch a virus? The most important air cleaning methods are air exchange with the outdoors and particle filtration. The atmosphere is full of ions created by sunlight interacting with molecular bonds of atmospheric atoms. These ions break the bonds of chemical structures like viruses to regain their neutrality. Getting this fresh air and a few natural ions inside the building is the most important first step in slowing the spread. Particle filters are another important air cleaning tool. Low efficiency filters used in warehouses and the like catch large particles like pollen, dust, and even small children. High efficiency filters can catch much, much smaller things, like viruses, and are typically used in hospitals. However, the ability of filters to catch everything in the air, including viruses, is limited. Information on air exchange with the outdoors and filtration is readily available elsewhere and will not be reviewed in detail here. So today we'll focus on three strategies beyond these for slowing the spread via inhalation.
Thank you, Jacob. The first of these strategies for avoiding catching a virus is displacement ventilation.
What is displacement ventilation? So first let's talk about what isn't displacement ventilation by way of contrast. Most spaces use air mixing to provide air conditioning. This is like having people mixing at an ice cream social. Mixed airflow churns the air in a space, moving air and contaminants to all parts of the room. On the other hand, displacement ventilation delivers supply air gently near people's feet. Heat from the people or equipment in the space causes the air to warm and then ascend where it is removed from the room. So the air always continues to move in a straight linear vertical line from the floor to the ceiling, no mixing. Viruses or other things in a person's exhaled breath have more difficulty spreading from person to person with this kind of air delivery system. Displacement ventilation is a great way to minimize swirling of air and random mixing of viruses. It also has the advantage of noise reduction, greater comfort via the elimination of drafts, and a decrease in overall energy use.
Thank you, Jacob. The second strategy for slowing the spread is proper relative humidity. As noted, viruses hitch rides on water vapor droplets. The drier the air is, the faster this water vapor evaporates, and the farther the moving virus and what's left of the water vapor will travel before gravity pulls it to the ground. Not only do the smaller entities float farther through the air, they can also be drawn much more deeply into the tiniest of airways in the lungs. And just to make things worse, low relative humidity also causes our respiratory tract to dry out, making it less effective at catching water droplets and other contaminants than when it is moist. To limit the spread of viruses the most, the ideal relative humidity is a minimum of 40%. As a bonus, the human immune systems are better able to combat viruses in the 40 to 60% relative humidity range.
Humidifiers can be added to both new and existing HVAC systems. They have the additional benefits of increasing comfort and providing a better environment for wood floors, art objects, and other things that are sensitive to humidity.
The third strategy is very straightforward. Turn the virus into something else. Bipolar ionization. As noted in the introduction, a virus is a set of instructions for reproduction, but they do not contain any actual cell building material. If the viruses can be broken up prior to merging with living cells, reproduction does not occur. I'm reminded of a story. An atom walked into a bar. The atom said, "I lost an electron." The bartender asked, "Are you sure?" The atom said, "I'm positive." Our recommended method of breaking up all of these viruses is called bipolar ionization. Ions, which are atoms or molecules that are either missing an electron or have one too many, are unstable, and they crave stability. They achieve this by taking or giving an electron to a passing complex molecule. The complex molecule's atoms then become a group of simple atoms that aren't bound together anymore, and so are not viruses.
Bipolar ion generators are easy to add to new or existing systems by placing one in each air handler or fan coil unit. The ions are discharged into the airstream and dispersed to all spaces, neutralizing particles and disrupting viruses. As a bonus, the ions also bond to dust and mold particles in the air, enabling filters to entrap many more of the smaller ones. They require just about zero maintenance and negligible power use. Bipolar ionization is also effective in reducing odors and preventing microbiological buildup from occurring on cooling coils. By keeping the cooling coils clean, heat transfer is improved, increasing energy efficiency, and the cost of cleaning coils is reduced. UVC light. Another strategy to break up viruses is ultraviolet radiation, also known as UVC light. This has been used for over 100 years to separate atoms of bacteria and viruses. It's very effective. On the downside, it's also extremely dangerous. It damages the cells of other living things as well, like skin and eye lenses, leading to skin cancers and blindness. It is used for disinfecting surfaces in unoccupied spaces, like recently vacated hospital rooms, buses and subway trains when parked overnight, and circulating paper money. It's also used to clean the cooling coils of air handling units. The UVC light must shine directly on the viruses for several seconds or at a very high intensity to work, so it doesn't have a huge effect on viruses flying by in the air, unless there's an unwieldy amount of lights in the air handler. So industry research is continuing to try to find a way to use UVC in a safe manner.
Well, thanks for taking the time to listen to our discussions on mitigation strategies to help slow the spread of viruses indoors. While we focused on 3 solutions through air treatment, there are a number of other considerations that we did not discuss.
That's right, Steve. We are working on a follow-up discussion where we talk more about them. If you have any questions about what we've discussed or want to know more about any of these strategies, email us at covid@shp.com. Thanks. Have a great day.